Welcome back. Welcome back to the Sideline Speaks. I am back. Wow, it's been a long time, you guys. I think it was since last year. Actually, I'm sorry, not last year, earlier this year, right after the last Super Bowl. Of course, that my team won, the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending champ. So, okay. But that's not the point. I am back. The Sideline Speaks is back, and I'm back to talk about football. NFL football is officially back. Week one has started already. The game was a couple of days ago, which I was trying to get here yesterday to talk about the game, but unfortunately, certain things happened. But I'm here right now to talk about it, to talk about everything that's going on. You know what? Let's just jump right into it. But if you don't know, my name is Brittany. You guys can follow me at Brittany Monique on Instagram, Twitter, and so forth. Also at the Sideline Speaks on Twitter or X as it's now known. But let's jump right into it. People have been asking me to comment on this, and it has been a major debate going on across nationally, and I mean a serious debate, and that is the Spitgate, the Jalen Carter, Dak Prescott incident that occurred on Thursday before a snap occurred. I think it was maybe 6 seconds into the game. The Eagles kicked the ball off, and then right after we have the so-called incident. Just to give my thoughts on it, and I'm going to talk about it from both sides, from both how I feel about the Dak Prescott situation, and of course I have to talk about Jalen Carter because he represents my Philadelphia Eagles. And how I feel about it is two wrongs don't make it right. Everybody's talking about, Jalen Carter needs this, Jalen Carter needs that. And I 110% agree with you guys. But Dak Prescott is also not innocent in this situation at all. He's not innocent at all. He knew exactly what he was doing. I'm not saying it maybe it was a smart move because he absolutely baited Jalen Carter into the situation. But you cannot tell me he's innocent. I don't care what anybody says. I heard a lot of people sit and say, "Oh, he was trying to spit down on the ground." Stop it, just please. Let's stop it. We're all grown here. We understood what he was attempting to do. The intent was clear. There's not one person I've ever seen go from the back of the huddle where he was standing. You made a complete circle in the huddle, walk up to the front of his huddle while, talking trash, jawing back and forth with Jalen Carter, whatnot, whatever it may be, smirking, laughing, purposely put his head in between his offensive linemen and spit in the direction of Jalen Carter. Now, I'm not saying that he was trying to spit on him, but he absolutely spit in the direction of him. I don't care if Jalen Carter was standing right in front of him. I don't care if Jalen Carter was 10 feet away from him. He spit in the direction of Jalen Carter. So he has to take accountability for his actions as well. So do I think Dak Prescott will get a fine or suspend? No, I don't think that, because I think the retaliation to me was worse, right? It does not say, I'm not saying that Dak is innocent. I don't think he's innocent. I think he baited, he taunted, and if you look at the rule book, if you bait or taunt, that's just not saying it's just as bad, but it's against the policy of the NFL. It really honestly is. And I heard Dak Prescott's press conference afterwards. I listened to it and I just called total BS on him. I have a lot of respect, or I had a lot of respect for Dak Prescott, but there's just so much BS when it came to what he was saying. I spit 1,000 times, this, that, and the third. When you spit, turn your head to the side and spit. Look down at the ground and spit. You didn't look at the ground to spit on the ground, right? And again, I don't think it was his intent to spit on Jalen Carter, right? But you definitely knew what you were doing. You were baiting. Now, Dak Prescott to the side, let me concern myself with the major problem, because he plays for my team. Really any team, but he plays for my team, and that's Jalen Carter. And as talented as Jalen Carter is, he has the potential to be one of the greatest defensive tackles to ever play this game. One of the greatest, not the greatest, one of the greatest. You know, he has what they call, I guess, generational talent coming out of school. Um, you know, they have put him up there, and he's only in year 3 with the likes of the Reggie Whites and the Jerome Browns and the Aaron Donalds. Aaron Donald even said, "Man, watch out for that kid, Jalen Carter." Jalen Carter, you have to be smarter than this. You know, you're 23, 24 years old. I know you're still a young man, but you know what's right and what's wrong. You cannot spit on anybody. That is disgusting, and that is one of the most disrespectful things you can do to anyone. You completely fell for the bait. You completely fell for the bait, and you cannot do that. This has been an issue for Jalen Carter. You know, last year he fell for the bait. It's time to grow up, sir. It's time to grow up. It's time to mature. I'm gonna look at it as lesson learned. Hopefully this is a humbling situation for you, and lesson learned. Whatever the NFL decides to do, I have no problems with it at all, because that is disgusting. You cannot do that. I have no problems. If they want to fine him, then fine him. If they're going to suspend him another game, then suspend him another game. Now, I have heard that they may not, it's unlikely that they will suspend him because they see the previous game, since he was ejected at the beginning of the game, as a suspension. So it's unlikely they'll suspend him, but it's still a possibility. It's up in the air still. My understanding is that the NFL is reviewing the full tape, which includes Dak Prescott. So again, I'm not sure if they're going to fine Dak Prescott, but they're going to look at him and the taunting and the baiting, and then they are also going to look at Jalen Carter's actions as well. This is inexcusable. I do think that the Eagles will also take matters into their own hands as well, whether that's a fine, whether he doesn't start for a game. I know last year there was an incident that occurred with Jalen Carter, and he didn't start. I believe it was for the Atlanta Falcons game. He did not start. We don't tolerate this in Philadelphia. You know, the organization, I should say. The Philadelphia Eagles organization does not tolerate the actions of what Jalen Carter did. He needs to learn how to control himself, learn how to walk away from this situation. You know, you did not think about anybody else in the situation. Your ego got the best of you. You know, I will ask Jalen Carter what type of player he wants to be, because he has all world talent, and we know he has all world talent. My goodness, he's just starting year 3, and he's a difference maker on the field, by far a difference maker on the field. So my question to Jalen Carter: what kind of player do you want to be? Do you want to be known for? Do you want your legacy to be? You know, do you want to be? I have 2 options, and this might sound crazy because I'm going to say D or D, right? And that stands for, do you want to be dirty or dominating? You want to be known to be a dirty player or a dominating player? You have all the potential in the world to be the dominating player, a future Hall of Fame. You already won a Super Bowl in your 2nd year, had the potential to win more. But you had these moments so far in only 2 full years, starting your 3rd year, of these dirty actions. I don't know this young man personally, and I know and I hope that he's going to grow from this, but boy, does he need to grow from this situation, because you have the talent to be dominating. It's there, you know. And my understanding is they saying he still hasn't even figured out how to play the defensive tackle position. But man, when he does, my goodness, he's already unstoppable. What are you going to do when he finally figures it out? Mind you guys, it probably takes good 3-4 years for players to really start to figure out how to play the defensive tackle position in the NFL. We have seen that from the likes of Christian Wilkins. Now I'm going to talk about his situation, but I'm just talking about how long it has taken him, when he finally was able to figure out about 3-4 years in, and how great he has become. But Jalen Carter can be better than great. He is already better than great. But I need him to understand that. I need him to understand people are watching you. Kids are watching you. You not only represent yourself, you represent the team, you represent your family. How do you want people to view you once you retire? So I'm gonna say it as it was a situation, and he said he won't do it again. I just hope that he does not do it again. Whatever happened previously, we're gonna put that in the past. But Jalen, you have to learn and you need to grow from this situation. Absolutely. And again, guys, I don't care what anybody says. Dak also needs to take accountability. He knows what he was doing also. But Jalen cannot fall into the bait. You got baited. You look like a fish that got caught, that put the bait on the end of the fishing rod, and they caught you quick. It took no time. I know a lot of people are saying, well, this is why, this is going to be issue because BG and Flex or Cox and all those guys aren't there anymore. Yes, veteran leadership is very important, to the young guys to help keep them in check and things like that. But they shouldn't have to keep you in check with stuff like this. This is nasty. This is disgusting. We just went through certain things as a society and understand how important it is to take care of one another's health. And you go on and spit on somebody, it's inexcusable. But again, we're going to learn, grow, and move on. That's all we can do from this here on out. Now, let's get into this game. I'm just going to do a quick little recap of the Eagles-Cowboys game. I know it was a couple days ago. Boy, was I sitting on pins and needles. As we know, the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys 24-20. It was an interesting game. I figured it will be a close game. This is still a division rival. And not only that, it's the first game of the NFL season. It's the very first game, guys. The very first game of the NFL season. And I need people to stop panicking. During the game, of course, you have your pins and needles because, as a fan, you want to win the game. But there's so much that both teams have to learn, especially when you don't play your starters in preseason. They have to knock the rust off. That's one. And some of these guys look rusty. And two, you're trying to learn what your team is about in the first few weeks of the NFL season. Are we a run team? Are we more of a pass team? What's the strategy of our defense is going to be? What are our strengths and our weaknesses? And you heard Howie Roseman say it, if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, we're not done yet. We're not done making moves. It's week 1. Things are going to change. So to get into the actual game, outside of the whole Jalen Carter, Dak Prescott situation, both offenses on both sides looked good in that first half. They really did. They were moving the ball up and down the field with ease. That tells us a lot about the defense on both sides. Dak Prescott was very good. I know he didn't play all last year due to his injury. He came back slinging that football all across the field. So he looked very great. I have to give him credit where credit is due. I cannot stand the Cowboys, but I will give him credit where credit is due. I do think that's part of Jalen Carter not being there, and that's why it's important that Jalen Carter understands the impact of his actions and how that hurt his team. But outside of that, Dak Prescott found his open receivers, threw the ball well. And to be honest with you, they don't necessarily lose because of Dak Prescott. It was a few missed throws. I think towards the end of the game, he almost threw an interception. Those things tend to happen, especially in week 1. Their offensive line actually did much better than what I thought. Again, it's week 1. All the Tylers on that line. But I think Cooper Beebe, I believe, is in there as well. So they protected him very well. They did pretty good in the run game as well. I think Javonte Williams is his name. Ran the ball well. Miles Sanders took off for the long run, was about 40 something yards, I believe. Could have been a little bit more. It was unfortunate that he did get the fumble, and I believe was at the first half. It was the first half. So I do think the play calling. So I'm in the first game for a first NFL game. I was very impressed with the Dallas Cowboys. I hate saying that. Oh my gosh, I can't stand saying that. But I got to give him credit where credit is due. Brian Schottenheimer, if I said his name properly, he showed me something, and he's gotten a lot of flack, a whole lot of flack throughout the offseason. I know Jerry Jones has gotten flack for hiring him, especially when he has other coaches that were out there who the media and their fan bases felt would have made a much better impact on this team. You know, they already had drama coming into this season with the Micah Parsons trade. So you could tell it was a team that was going to do their best in week one to play their best as much as possible. And that's what they did. I seen a lot of effort on both sides of the football. And it was tense. The game was tense. It started off tense and it went tense throughout. And I'll be honest, I think actually they were more physical in this first game. Now to get to the Philadelphia Eagles offense, Jalen Hurts, I don't think the Eagles won if it's not for Jalen Hurts. I think he played a fantastic game. You know, my grade on him is not going to be super high because, again, it's week one. There were way too many penalties for the Philadelphia Eagles for me. You had, I don't know exactly the amount of penalties, but you had over 100 yards worth of penalties. So you gave the Dallas Cowboys offense free yards, more than 100 yards, more than 100 offensive free yards is what I'm trying to say. You can't do that. You have to clean that up. It was a lot of unsportsmanlike penalties and just unnecessary stuff that we can control, you know. Pass interference calls, a couple I agree with, but then there was maybe one or two that I said, it seems like that's a stretch there, you know. But Jalen Hurts to me played very well. The offensive line did okay. I think they did okay. I think they're going to get better for sure. You're not coached with Jeff Stoutland and think this is it. Jeff Stoutland is going to make sure his guys improve each and every game. I love the fact that Jalen Hurts was looking more, you know, to get the ball out quickly in the beginning of this game. He was looking for Dallas Goedert more. He was looking for his running backs more. Miles Sanders, good Lord. He's with the Cowboys now. Saquon Barkley and Will Shipley a lot more. And I'm impressed with Will Shipley. I am very, very impressed with Will Shipley. I think he's going to be a very talented running back too, of course. He made a few nice moves to put us in great position to score as well. It's something about Jalen Hurts in this game that I said this guy is different. He's always been calm, but there was a certain level of confidence with this game that I really was like, okay, this might be a different season. But what I love about Jalen Hurts, and I love the fact that he does not listen to the crowd, to the noise. He doesn't care if he only has 160 passing yards. He just doesn't care. He does not care. That's not something that he is concerned about. He is concerned about doing whatever it takes to win. And a couple days ago, he did exactly what his team needed to win. I am with you guys to say that we have to give the ball more to A.J. Brown. We have to give the ball more to Devontae Smith. But that's also on the responsibility of the coordinator, the offensive coordinator, and Kevin Patula. I'm going to give him a chance. I love the game, the way Kevin Patula called the game in the first half. I had a little bit more issues with the way he called it in the second half because it looked like it wasn't a whole lot of adjustments that were made. This is the NFL, Kevin Patil. I know you've been with the Eagles organization for a number of years now, but this is the NFL. You have to, and I mean have to, go into that halftime and come out with a few different wrinkles. That's what I say. You have to make the necessary adjustments. You cannot go in with a similar game plan. But outside of that, I thought Jalen was incredible. I really do. I actually graded him a B plus. I'm not gonna give you an A. It's the first game. There's certain things I still would like to see um, him do a little bit more of, especially in the passing game. But Jalen Hurts is a fantastic player. He's a fantastic quarterback, and I love his mentality. His mental fortitude is probably second to no one. With everything that he's been through, with everything he needed to overcome while playing this game, the criticism, and he's still going to get a lot of criticism, because he's not considered the most likable guy, because he's more of a, I'm going to just stay to myself type of guy. And it seems like he's starting to bust out, break out of that a little bit more. And instead of just focusing on his play on the field, they're trying to figure out, well, why you don't want to talk to us? So what? He wants to focus on football. Allow him to focus on football. But I think Jalen Hurts really did play a great game. A.J. Brown, I have to give him credit. Although he didn't have really no targets throughout the game. He had the one target at the end when it was third down. No, I'm sorry. It was second down. Which was a huge catch. Like Jalen Hurts said in his press conference, that was probably the biggest catch of the game. It was only maybe about 6-7 yards, but that was the biggest catch of the game. And that's what led to the Jalen Hurts scramble of about 4 or 5 yards to get to the first down and end the game. But I have to give A.J. Brown credit because he maintained his composure like he always does. Stay calm even when they're asking him questions. And you know how the media is. They're going to try to bait you into thinking there's some locker room drama like they always do. But he said, nope. In other words, my time will come. We got the win, and that's what I'm concerned. That's what I'm worried about. Again, second half, a little disappointed. I understand there was a long break due to lightning. So it was almost an hour, if I can recall. Which was thankful for me because I was out watching the game and I said it's time for me to go home. So I got home just in time for when they came back from that weather delay. So I was able to see the second half of the game. We're going to see more. It's week 1. So I don't want anyone to panic about week 1. But let me get into the Philadelphia Eagles defense. We have to get pressure for sure. And I think this is where Jalen Carter's actions really hurt the team. We have to generate more pressure. I'm not sure. There was no sacks on Dak Prescott at all. I'm not really sure if he even felt much pressure. I think it started maybe towards the end of the game. Pressure started to generate a little bit more to make things a little tight. It was a couple because he did almost throw an interception towards the end of that game as well. But Jalen Carter is vital to our defense. We had to change our entire defensive scheme because of his actions earlier in the night. But we made it through. I will say there's a lot of potential, a lot of flashes that I've seen across the defensive line. I have to give big props to Jordan Davis. Big Jordan Davis, man. He has gotten criticism the last so many years because he couldn't keep his weight down, because they're not sure if he can generate pass rushing. He's really just the run stuffer. There's, will he ever be in shape? For somebody who only played 20-something%, maybe 30-something% in the Super Bowl, I think it's actually 20%. It might have been less than that in the Super Bowl, to go into play 80, I believe it was 84% of the snaps in this game. He showed me a lot. He should have had 2 sacks. So his pass rushing has really, really improved there, because he definitely should have had 2 sacks. He's a difference maker in the run game. When he's not out there, you can feel it. You can see it and you can feel it. I'm just imagining him next to Jalen Carter and then our two guys on the ends. This is going to be a different game going forward. I'm impressed with Jalen Hunt. I know he didn't do much this game, but he has shown flashes. He's still a very young player. Think we have to remember, guys, he just converted into a pass rusher. He was a safety for a long time. This is really his third year as a pass rusher. 72nd year as a pass rusher with the Philadelphia Eagles in Vic Fangio's defensive scheme. But the guy, the rookie that got me the most, Jahad Campbell. I don't know how we got Jahad Campbell. I do not know how he got Jahad Campbell. And it's hard. I never thought I would say this, but this might be one of the best. It's still very, very new, very fresh, very young with Jahad Campbell there. This might become one of the best linebacker duos in the NFL. I never thought I would say that about the Philadelphia Eagles in the last over 15 years or so, because for the longest time they just viewed that position. They didn't highly value the linebacker position, and I think after the last couple years they see how important it is, and now their investment is going in that direction. As we can see, you pay Zach Bond, who had a heck of a game on Thursday night as well. Jahad Campbell, rookie out of Alabama, went down the field and covered their. I think it was their. I can recall, I believe it was their tight end. Went 20 yards down the field to break up a pass, played it perfect, caused a fumble that helped save the game as well. With Miles Sanders, created that. So when you watch him, it's like he's always in the right spot. He's always around the ball. He's quicker than what I thought. Now, when he really gets up to speed with the NFL game, he's going to be a special type of player. You know, he could drop back, he could pass, he could rush the passer. You know, his game is so versatile, and it just fits perfectly in this Vic Fangio scheme, along with Zach Bond. Quinyon Mitchell, I think he did a decent job, you know, especially going up against CeeDee Lambs and George Pickens, and these are all world type of receivers in the NFL, you know. Cooper DeJean did great in the slide. He had one little mishap with, I believe, CeeDee Lamb. Again, CeeDee Lamb. What are you going to do? These are second-year players going up against CeeDee Lamb. But CeeDee Lamb dropped the pass. Andrew Makuba. I'm purposely skipping CB2 for right now. Andrew Makuba, for a rookie safety, I think he also played well, you know. And remind you guys, they didn't play perfect. They played well, you know, for rookies, just learning this new scheme, new team for Jahad Campbell and Makuba, and it's game one. I think they played pretty decent. CB2. That is a big question mark for this Philadelphia Eagles team. CB2. And I know Howie Roseman is not done. He can't be done after that game. And we knew coming in, the Cowboys or any team in the future, that we have the Chiefs next, we're going to pick on CB2. Quinyon Mitchell, even though it was his rookie year last year, has shown that he is sticky in coverage. May not be able to catch the ball, which he's going to have to work on that. Quinyon, Quintanamo Bay, whatever they want to call you. I love you. I love your game. You're a very talented player, but I need you to get on those jug machines. Because if I see another pick come your way and hits you smack dab in the hand like the one that did on Thursday night, and you do not catch that ball, we're going to have a problem. We are going to have a serious, serious problem. Get on the jug machine. Matter of fact, you should be on that jug machine right now, because you're too talented. You're too talented. Go get on the jug machine. Going back to CB2, Adoree Jackson's been in this league for about 8, 9 years. I believe he's played for the Giants. I don't know if the other team was the Panthers or one of those teams. That he's not it. I'm gonna just get straight to it. He's not it. I know after the game, he stated, he graded himself and stated, he knows exactly what he needs to work on, where his improvements need to be. He gave himself a C. That was very generous, sir. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything like that, but they picked on you all night long. The Cowboys knew. That Cowboys offense knew. We're going to rarely go to Quinyon Mitchell's way. We're going to go to the other way and see what he can do. And they showed us that you got a lot of work to do. You have a lot of work to do. Adoree Jackson was picked on and couldn't stop one play. I think he made one stop where it was almost picked off by, I believe he popped it up. It was almost picked off by, I believe, Byron Young. Is that his name? Byron Young. I could have got his first name wrong. One of the young defensive linemen for the Philadelphia Eagles. But yeah, no. You either got beat long, or you kept giving so much space. You kept giving so much space. It was getting out of hand. How many curl routes can you get beat on? How many curl routes can you get beat on? It was embarrassing. It was really, really embarrassing. So we're going to have to, the Philadelphia Eagles definitely have to make a change at CB2. I'm curious to see what Jacorian Bennett is about. I've seen a little bit in preseason. I actually like more from Jacorian Bennett than I did from Adoree Jackson in the preseason. And Jacorian Bennett came in, I think, a couple times. He got a PI. He had sticky coverage. He was just a little too grabby. So I think Christian Parker will work with him when it comes to that. I see a lot of potential with Jacorian Bennett more than I do Adoree Jackson. And I might just be putting my foot in my mouth. Maybe Adoree Jackson comes out next week and plays incredible, or over the course of the week and plays incredible. Right now, we have to make another move for CB2 because I don't see it right now. But overall, if I had to get a grade to the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm giving their offense, I say a B plus. I give their offense a B plus. So I give them the same grade I gave Jalen Hurts. Defense, I'm going to give you a C. There's a lot of things that I still need to see. But again, it's week 1. They had the slow start last year on the defensive side of the ball, where people were getting frustrated and irritated and annoyed. And next thing you know, the defense completely turned around. The team completely turned it around. The offense will absolutely improve as well. So I think it's a positive that through the penalties, through the struggles, because, man, especially with the offense and the run game, and I didn't understand it, but they kept trying to run it up the middle. And I'm like, why are you continuously trying to run it up the middle where they're stacking the box and it's like you're forcing it? And normally when they would do that last year, it made sense because they were setting you up. We've seen it in the Super Bowl, for example, with the dagger play. People thought it was the same exact similar play they did a little bit earlier where they handed it off to Saquon. But then Jalen pulls it and throws the dagger. So I still, again, it's week 1. I love the fact that they have a mini bye this week because you're going up against a tough one next week. I know the situation that happened last night, but it's still Patrick Mahomes. It's still Travis Kelce, and I'll get into them just a little bit later. And they just have one of the greatest NFL coaches of all time in Andy Reid. And his offensive mind is just incredible. Incredible. So that's the one positive I would absolutely pull from this game. Through all of the negatives that occurred in this game, they still was able to pull out a win. they still was able to pull out and win, which is huge. And that's what these first 4 to 5 weeks are going to be about until, we completely figure out who the Eagles are. They completely knock the rust off. Can we stack up wins right now by going through the ups and downs of what the first 4 to 5 weeks are going to bring? And we've seen a lot of it already in this first Thursday night game. But overall, NFL is back, and I am excited. And as an Eagles fan, I'm absolutely excited that we got the win. But I see a lot of things that we have to work on. But by all means, and this goes for any team really in the NFL. Of course, I really follow the Eagles because that's my team, but I follow other teams because I want to talk about them. But any fans and anybody in the media will drive you insane if you continue to listen, take everything they say, and take, just build off of what they say. They do a lot of things for clicks and bait you into certain things. But anybody watching, it's the first few weeks of the NFL season. Your team is going to go through its ups and downs. But what you see in week 1 most likely is not what you're going to see in week 7, week 8. They're trying to figure out their identity right now. So for my Eagles fans, relax. Eagles fans, relax. Trust in the process. I ain't talking about the 76ers process because that process needs a lot of work. I'm talking about the Eagles process. Trust in that standard that they say. And let's just watch them grow. I know it's going to be stressful watching the games because any Philadelphia team, really, you need some blood pressure medication because they definitely, it's a lot. It's a lot being a Philadelphia fan, period. But no, overall, decent first game. I knew it was going to be a close game. I predicted 24-17. Cowboys got 3 more points than I predicted, so I was fairly close with that. All right, guys. I'm going to move on now to just a few games. I just want to talk about just a couple games. I don't want to get too crazy by going through all the games. As I start doing more videos and going live, hopefully throughout the weeks, hopefully after the games, then I'll go through hopefully as many games that I can. But one of these games that you can see has already been played, and that is the Chiefs Chargers. We all know the Chargers won 27-21 in Brazil yesterday, the same place where the Eagles opened up last year against Green Bay. And overall, another division game, another good game. I felt watching it for week 1, it was exciting. Again, it's another just stamp that the NFL is officially back. And what I seen from it, I'm gonna just quickly go over some of these games here. What I seen from it was Justin Herbert. I was impressed with. I already knew the talent he had coming out of college, and he has displayed that time and time again throughout the NFL season. But my issue with him was health, consistency, and game situations. When you need your team when your team needs you to make a play as the leader, as the quarterback, can you do it? And he has struggled with that, over the course of his career. And I'm not the one to give you excuses. A lot of people have given him excuses. You have been in this league just as long as Jalen Hurts, if not longer. There's no more excuses. You have had talent on your team. There's no more excuses. But he definitely showed me something this game. He really showed me something this game because I thought he would be one of the best young quarterbacks when he came out of college. I said, I like Justin Herbert. Everybody else is choosing whatever other quarterbacks out there. I was saying Justin Herbert will be a good player, a great player. And boy, did he play a fantastic game yesterday. Keenan Allen, you could tell that's his guy. He was looking for him. And Keenan Allen, although he's old man now, not that old man, showed up. showed up and showed out. Um, and I have to give credit to the rookie, Omarion Hampton. Although he did have that one incident, which he's going to definitely have to learn from that. And I think he did, because you could see the frustration on his face. Um, I could tell he's going to be a good young running back. He's still very young. I wish he would have hit some of the holes a little bit faster, but that's just a rookie adjusting to the speed of the game. Once he gets adjusted to the speed of the game, I believe he's going to be a star for the Chargers. I almost said San Diego Chargers. I'm going to say Los Angeles Chargers. So I was thoroughly impressed with Omarion Hampton. And for those who didn't watch the game, so at the end of the half, I think it was about a minute and some change left, probably almost less than a minute. They could have just ran the clock down, basically. They could have just ran the clock down, took a timeout, kicked the field goal, going to halftime. But what happened was they Justin Herbert handed the ball off to Omarion Hampton. He went to the outside, I believe it was the right side, outside. And instead of sliding in bounds to keep that clock rolling, he ended up running out of bounds and stopped the clock. And it was third down. So they then had to kick the ball or kick the field goal, get a couple points. And you know what that means. I believe Patrick Mahomes had, 45, 50 seconds left in the half to go down and do something with the football. And we have seen Patrick Mahomes. You're going against Patrick Mahomes. We have seen Patrick Mahomes in less time than that go down and score to win the game. So it was a little frustration on that, but I think he learned his lesson. You're going to have these ups and downs with rookies. They're rookies. He's trying to learn. He's trying to understand, but he is a very good player. He's a good player. Quentin Johnson, the receiver from the Chargers, talented receiver. I could see it. He got open on a number of occasions, made some big time catches for Justin Herbert. The Chargers are a talented team. They are a talented team. The offensive line, I could tell, has improved significantly. They were giving Justin Herbert enough time to get the ball out of his hands, to find that open receiver, to get the ball out of his hands, and that's exactly what he did. Justin Herbert, in a running, when he ran, I did not realize how strong Justin Herbert was. It was unfortunate that it got called back, but I think it was second and 20 or first and 20, something like that. And Justin Herbert ran 20 yards through a couple of the Chiefs defenders to get that first down. But unfortunately, there was a holding penalty called on that play, and it came back. But that was an incredible run. So I'm thoroughly impressed with Justin Herbert. The Chiefs offense, what are you going to say? Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Everybody I know gets excited about the explosive, exciting plays, when he's getting ready to get tackled and he keeps his body off the ground, he flips it to one of his receivers. I think it was Schuster. I think it was Schuster. He flipped it over to the defender and got it to Schuster, I believe. Correct me if it wasn't Schuster. Or the play towards the end of the game where he's running to the sideline, and he flips it downfield. I believe that was Hollywood Brown. He flipped it down there too. But boy, he is Madden 26. He's just a Madden video game. But overall, Patrick Mahomes, I think, also played well as well. But you can tell with the Chiefs offense, they're going to have to do something up front. I think Patrick Mahomes is still getting a lot of pressure in his face, too much pressure in his face. And it doesn't matter how good your quarterback is, when you don't have time to do what you need to do, odds are that play's going to be dead. It could be turnover, incomplete pass, or a sack. So they're going to have to absolutely fix that offensive line. And it's unfortunate with this offense because you already was missing Rashee Rice. He's suspended. And then what happens next is Travis Kelce knocked the mess out of Xavier Worthy, and now he has a shoulder issue. I'm pretty sure we will hear more about his injury probably Monday, because I'm assuming they're flying back today, most likely, or maybe late last night today. They're definitely not going to get in until probably today, coming from Brazil. So, and then you have Sunday, and then Monday. I don't know if he's going to his X-rays Monday or Sunday. Teams they have different powers and different authorities to get their players examined right away. So we'll probably find out more about what's going on with Xavier Worthy. I mean, unless they announced it as I'm sitting here talking to you guys, which I doubt it is Saturday. On Monday, we'll learn more about what's going on with him on Monday. But even without those two guys, as long as you do what you need to do, your job. And that's the one thing about Andy Reid. He's going to let you be who you are. He's going to make sure he celebrates you and tell you, I need you to just be yourself. He really values that. He wants you to be comfortable on his football team. But he also wants you to do your job. The moment you don't do your job, that's the moment. That's the only time he'll probably let you go. Andy Reid's probably one of the most down-to-earth coaches that anybody will ever have. He's such a great coach. He understands his players' strengths and his weakness and their weaknesses, and he's going to play to your strengths. He's going to tell you to work on your weaknesses, but I'm gonna play to your strength, and that's what he does. So, they may not have a Jamar Chase. They may not have anymore a younger DeAndre Hopkins prior to all the injuries. They may not have a Devontae Adams, a Puka Nacua. I could go on and on and on. But Andy Reid is going to draw up plays, and all he wants his receivers to do is to do their job. If you see Patrick Mahomes scrambling, go and find an open spot. Patrick Mahomes will find you and get the ball to you. So, and they still have Travis Kelce that you have to worry about. And as you can see, Travis Kelce found the open spot yesterday and ran it in for a touchdown, which was well needed at that time. I don't care what anybody says. And I'm the first one to say Travis Kelce is declining. You can see the decline, but he understands how to read defenses. He was at one point a quarterback, you guys. He was at one point a quarterback who turned into a tight end later and became one of the greatest tight ends to play in NFL history. So he understands where to find the open spot, where to be visible for your quarterback when your quarterback is in trouble. And that's what he does. That's what he's known for. He might not be as fast as he once was. He may not be able to do some of the things that he once did. He doesn't have to do those things. He doesn't have to. Just find that open spot. Let me sit myself right here, whether it's zone or whatnot. Let me make myself available to my quarterback. And that's exactly what he does. And they almost actually made a comeback. They almost made a comeback towards the end of that game. As far as the defense, I was thoroughly impressed with the Chargers defense. For week one, they're strong in a lot of areas. They really are. They generated a lot of pressure on Patrick Mahomes, which was good to see. Again, I'm not going to be too long on this because I got to get to about 3 other teams real quick as well. And then I have some other things to do going on today. But so the Chargers, I do think they're going to be a good team this year with Jim Harbaugh as their head coach. I think they're going to be a good team. So watch out for them. The Chiefs defense, they struggled a little bit yesterday from what we're used to seeing. But again, it's week one. It's week one. I thought they kind of bottled Chris Jones, which is rare to say. And the Eagles better watch out because they were able to kind of control him just a little bit. And I don't mean control in the control that you guys, I mean just, make sure he doesn't get to Herbert, which is their job, and which is very hard to do. The Eagles better be careful because if he couldn't break through this game much, he broke through a couple times, but if he couldn't break through much this game, the Eagles better be careful next week because they're going to be ready next week. And And Chris Jones did get faked on that one play towards the end of the game that ended the game, where, man, I can't remember the play myself. He crashed in on the end instead of staying out, and Herbert ran right by him, ran for the first down, slid, game over. The game, and I think he ran for about 17 yards or so. Fantastic play call. Fantastic play call on behalf of the Los Angeles Chargers. It completely worked, and it created frustration, clear frustration for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I do think they're missing Justin Reed. Justin Reed, the safety, I believe he went to, actually, I can't remember. I don't know if he went to New Orleans. It might have been New Orleans that he went to. But I'm going to look that up later because I can't remember. I know the Eagles were trying to get him, but he decided to go to New Orleans, which makes sense. Go get paid, young man. But they're missing him in that secondary. You can see the difference. Trent McDuffie is still Trent McDuffie. George Karlaftis, he actually played well. Chris Jones, outside of, he's still Chris Jones. I can't say anything bad about him. But they're definitely going to have to improve on the Kansas City Chiefs defense. But it's Spags. He's going to figure it out. Spags, I look at Spags like I look at Vic Fangio. Just because you see him a certain way now, that is not how their season is going to be later. That defense is going to improve, and they're going to be much better. But overall, these first two games, division rivals, I was just excited to have football back. So it was definitely exciting for both of the games for me to sit down and watch them. Now I got to get into the rest of week one. I'm not going to do all the games, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. I only picked a few games that I'm going to quickly just go over, maybe give my predictions real fast, and that'll be it. Let's go to the Lions-Packers game. They playing in Green Bay. I'm excited about this game. I believe it's Sunday night. I could be wrong. Maybe Sunday. I think that's the Sunday night game or Sunday at 4, one of them. But I'm excited about this game. I know a lot of people are going with the Packers because they just traded for Michael Parsons. We're not sure if he's going to play or not because of his back injury. There's certain situations going on there. I believe he said he's going to do his best to try to play. But the Packers are a good young team. If we've seen them last year, they did very well last year. The defense, I think the defense played the Eagles very tough in the playoffs. If you guys seen that last year, their biggest issue was the pass defense. Well, they went and fixed that by getting Michael Parsons. Unfortunately, they did trade away Kenny Clark to the Dallas Cowboys, who played very well Thursday night. But I still think they're young, and they're going to be a pretty good defense going forward. The offense, Jordan Love, what can I say? I think he's a talented young quarterback. I still want to see, and he's definitely going to improve. He seems like the type of guy that works hard. I still want to see improvement with certain things when it comes with Jordan Love in the passing game. And mainly from him is more decision making. That's what it is for him. It's not necessarily that he's not accurate. He's a very accurate passer to football. It's more decision making for me. And I think that's what hurt him a lot of times last year. But they went and got Matthew Golden, who I think is going to serve them very well with that receiving core. So I'm excited to see them. The Lions, for me, let's be honest, they just needed healthy. They needed to be healthy. That was their biggest thing. They were hurt last year, mainly on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if that was a record last year and how many players were hurt and out for the season, but it was a lot of players. We know what their offense is with Jared Goff at leading the realm at quarterback. Then they have the dual-headed monster and Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery with that offensive line, who to me is still one of the better offensive line, them along with the Philadelphia Eagles, two of the best offensive line in the game. And then you have Amon-Ra St. Brown. You still have Jameson Williams, and I know I'm missing a couple other players that I even think to mention. but that offense is still going to be strong. I know they lost their coordinator and Ben Johnson. Is that his name? Yeah, I believe that's his name. But hopefully the new coordinator comes in and doesn't go too far away from the similar game plan that they had last year. Why would you? The game plan you had last year was a success. I don't know why you will come in and go away from that. You're going to have to make adjustments, of course, because defenses in the NFL are going to adjust. They studied your film all year, all summer long. So they're going to make adjustments. So yes, you have to make adjustments, but I'm not changing too much. I'm not changing too much if it technically worked last year. The issue for this team was health and defense, the health of the defensive side. Aiden Hutchinson is back. They are healthy on the defensive side. They also lost their defensive coordinator. He's now the head coach for the Jets. But I'm excited to see this team healthy. Now, I will say coordinators can make a difference. If they have no idea what they are doing, especially on the offensive side, because since Dan Campbell is a defensive-minded head coach, they can hurt you or help you. And we have seen that. Prime example with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2023. They went from Shane Steichen to, I can't even think, Brian Johnson, I believe his name, Brian something, who is, I don't even know if he's in the league anymore. To be honest with you. Who they couldn't figure out how to stop the blitz. And then if you go on the defensive side, that same year, they lost Jonathan Gannon, who I wasn't really fond of, to, I can't even think of the man's name. I know for sure he's not in the league anymore. I believe he's a analyst for a coaching analyst for one of the college teams. Sean Desai is his name, Sean Desai. So, and he had no idea what he was doing. Not saying they're not smart individuals or anything like that, but saying when you become in that coordinator position and it's on you to make the calls, on you to do certain things with the offense or the defense, it's on your shoulders. That can hurt or help the team. And then a couple years ago, it hurt the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm hoping it does not impact the Lions this year. And that goes for, honestly, the Philadelphia Eagles offense. It goes for a few teams. The Dallas Cowboys, it goes for a few teams because a few teams, either their coaching has changed or their coordinators have changed. But they have so much talent. I don't see it hurting them. I hope it doesn't. So I'm going to give my predictions real quick, and then throughout the week, I'll come back on and I'll talk about the game after I actually sat down and watched it. So I'm actually going to go. I know they're in Lambeau, and Lambeau is very difficult to play. And I don't know if Micah Parsons will play or not. I'm actually very excited. I'm hoping he plays because I want to see how that defense changed with Micah Parsons in there, although he's only been with them for 2 weeks maybe. So, and they still have a strong offense as well. But I'm going to pick the Lions in this one. I think it's going to be a close game. Again, it's week 1. You're going to see a lot of rust. You're going to see a lot of mistakes. So don't get too frustrated. Just try to just watch and enjoy it and just say football is back. I'm just watching and enjoy this game. I know it's a little tough if you're a fan. But it's week 1. I'm going to pick the Lions. Again, they are playing in Lambeau. It's not going to be as cold, which is good. So it's a great time to play in Lambeau. So I'm going to pick the Lions. I'm going to say the score is going to be fairly close. I'm going to say 26-22 Lions. That's my prediction for the Lions-Packers. Move on to the Ravens and Bills. I'm excited about this game as well. I know this is one of the primetime game slots as well. I think it's the 8 o'clock game, night game, or afternoon game, one of them. I'm excited about this one. So this is I believe the rematch from last year in the playoff game. I think it was the division round game. The Ravens just got even stronger. They added DeAndre Hopkins to their offense. They added Jair Alexander to their defense. My goodness. I know there were some health issues again with Jair Alexander, so we'll see how that goes. But you already have Lamar Jackson. You have Derrick Henry. You have Zay Flowers, who I think will take another step forward. You have a decent offensive line. That offense is a powerhouse as well. I mean, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, my goodness. Like what can you say? The ability of Lamar's passing and his running ability. Um, I mean, it's very tough to slow them down, and the strength of Derrick Henry. We have seen him run over people 1,001 times like it's nothing. It's like a big boulder coming and knock down buildings, like it's nothing to him. So we more than know what their offense is capable of doing. Defense, I love the addition of Malachi Starks from the draft. I kind of wish we got him, but I'm happy with Jahad Campbell. I love Jahad Campbell. But I think I believe they just gave an extension to Kyle Hamilton. When healthy, that defense should be formidable. That defense should be great. I mean, they are stacked on all three levels. They are stacked in on the defensive line, linebackers, Roquan Smith, and then the secondary. So this is a tough team, absolutely. The Buffalo Bills, MVP. Do you say former MVP now? Regular season MVP Josh Allen. I'm curious to see what their receiving core is going to look like. Keon Coleman, I know, is there. Khalil Shakir, I don't know how to say his last name, so correct me if I'm wrong. I know he is also there as well. I'm curious to see what the receivers do to hopefully help Josh Allen. He did a lot last year where he had to extend the plays out and then throw to his receivers. Hopefully they can help make it a little bit easier. I know I believe they just extended James Cook, which was fantastic. So he'll be able to help there as well. I mean, Josh Allen is the one quarterback that does a lot of good things with not a whole lot of talent, I guess you could say. But again, it's football. This is a team sport. And this is where I say, as long as these players know their roles, play your role to the best of your ability, you make it easier for everybody else, even your quarterback. You don't have to be an all-war receiver, as we have seen 1,000 times before and throughout the history of the NFL. You don't have to be the all-war receiver, the greatest receiver in the history of the game, although that does make it easier. Just know your role and do the role, perform your role to the best of your ability. If you do that, it makes things for your quarterback easier. It makes things for your running backs easier, your teammates, whoever it might be, your coach. It helps. We're a team. One group helps the other group. That's all. That's what football basically is. Defense. I'm not too sure about the defense, to be honest with you. I have to watch to see. I have to watch them play to really analyze. I didn't watch them or follow them too much in the preseason. I know they had Hard Knocks. I didn't have the time to watch Hard Knocks. Maybe I'll sit down. I believe it's on HBO, and take the time that I need to sit down and watch that. So I'll check that out to see exactly what's going on there. But just knowing that you have Josh Allen and they have a good coach over there. But this game, I got to go with, if I'm being quite honest, I'm going to go with the Ravens. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, if you said this is a playoff atmosphere game, I might go with the Bills. Call me crazy, but the few games I've seen Lamar Jackson and the Ravens play in the playoffs, when it mattered the most, when they needed to win under the brightest lights on the NFL stage, outside of the Super Bowl and the championships, Lamar just hasn't performed as much as I would like for him to be. And that tends to be because he tends to steer away from what he's been doing on the football field, right? But in a regular season, Lamar will kill you. He will hurt you, absolutely. It looks like he's more loose in a regular season. I'm hoping that changes this year. because I'm actually a huge fan of Lamar, and I want the best for him. I don't want him to win the Super Bowl. What the Eagles doing the Super Bowl, if I'm being honest, but they have the team to do it. So for this game, I'm going with the Ravens. I think the Ravens will beat the Bills over in Buffalo. And thank goodness it's a great time to play Buffalo. It's not too not too cold out there either. So I still think this is going to be a fairly close game. I'm gonna say this might be 28-24 Ravens. I'm gonna go 28-24 Ravens. Now this last game, I know there were so many other games I could have selected. I could have, chose. I think the Texans play. I forgot who they play, but that's a good game. There's a few other games, but I'm more intrigued with the Giants and Commanders. This is why I chose this game to talk about a little bit, or to put my predictions with. And maybe because their division, they're within the Eagles division as well. But I'm impressed with, actually, I think one of these teams are a little underrated right now, and they're going to surprise us. I'm not saying they're going to surprise us and go off and win the Super Bowl. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying what they're going to perform a little bit better than what we all think and what our current assumptions are as of right now. So the Giants Commanders, let's start with the Commanders in this one. Jalen Daniels, second-year quarterback, played lights out last year. He had his ups and downs last year. Not gonna lie, he got bailed out a couple games with the Hail Marys, but he's a fantastic player, fantastic young player. They are old, but those old guys know how to do their job. Again, they know how to do their job. And at one point in time, those guys were some of the best players in the league at their job. Zach Ertz, prime example. Bobby Wagner, prime example. Bobby Wagner, potential future Hall of Famer. I'm not really sure about Zach Ertz, but I know he's going into the Eagles Hall of Fame for sure. Scary Terry, they finally got that deal done. They added Deebo Samuel. He's not what he used to be, but he still could get the job done. And that's what you need from him. Make things a little bit easier for Jalen Daniels. They did their best to upgrade the offensive line. They brought in LT, Laramie Tunsil, not LT the running back. Who knows? Jeremy Tunsil, whatever. Running back. I know they got rid of Brian Robinson. I think they still have Austin Eckler, if I can recall. But that's still a good offensive team. I'm curious to see how they utilize Deebo Samuel. I'm pretty sure it's going to be similar in a way that Kyle Shanahan did with the 49ers. So that's definitely going to make things easier for Jaden Daniels. Just give him the ball. Deebo Samuel will take it there. Yak yard player. That's what he is. I'll catch the ball 5 yards, and I'll go ahead and get 15 yards. And I'm gonna run through some defenders while I'm on the way. He's not as quick as he used to be, but he's never really been an all-world route running type of receiver. That's never been his game. Just give me the ball in the open field, I'll take care of the rest. Scary Terry, we know he's about fantastic route runner, can beat a defense in any which way you need him to. So we know what that's about. Their defense, I like that young corner, Mike. I don't know how to say his last name. I'm gonna have to work on some of these players' names, by the way, last names, and I'll make sure when I come on here, I understand how to say it, pronounce it properly. But although they have some old guys in the Bobby Wagner world and things like that, they still have some decent young players, which is good. I'm still have some concerns with defense, but that's Dan Quinn's responsibility. I think he'll get that up to par. Frankie Louvu gets on my nerves. One player that gets on my nerves is Frankie Louvu. I can't stand him, but I have the most respect for him because he hustles. He is a hard-nosed football player, and he is always around the football. If I could, I'm be honest, I would probably want him on the Philadelphia Eagles, just purely off of heart and hustle. That is it. He is talented. I'm not saying he's not talented, but purely off of heart and hustle. That's basically how I feel about Overshawn from the Dallas Cowboys. You know, talented, but man, their heart and their hustle, they play all out almost every single snap that they're on the field. And I love that about those guys. But when you're going up against them, they are a nuisance and they are annoying because they are always there in your face. So, man, I love him as a player, but going against them is freaking annoying. So, but that's the Commanders for you. I think they're very talented, a little older. I think they're one of the oldest teams in NFL, but that will help Jaden Daniels develop a lot quicker. Believe it or not, that's going to help him a lot. But I am curious as his development goes later down the years when those guys aren't there, because some of these guys are on the verge of, a lot of those guys are on the verge of retiring or just moving on, because when they get a little bit older, the team's okay, it's time to move on. What will things look like then when you have to, Jaden Daniels is getting older now, you have to go out and get the younger guys? How is it going to look then? But right now, good young team, good team with a young quarterback. New York Giants. Now, this is the team that I think a lot of people are underrating a little bit. I'm not saying they are a playoff caliber team. That is not what I'm saying at all. I think they still have some moves to make before they get there. But the moves they did make, I don't think we could just say they're the worst team in the NFL. I don't think they are at all. Let's look at it defensively first, mainly. And the biggest thing defensively, yes, they have a lot of things to work on, but that defensive front is going to be lights out. They have Brian Burns, they have Thibodeau, they have Dexter Lawrence, and now they have Abdul Carter. Who is going to stop that? Who is going to stop that? I see pressure on anybody, the opposing quarterback, constantly. They are going to be an opposing quarterback's face on almost probably every snap. If they do what they're supposed to do and do what we have seen them do on other teams outside of Abdul Carter, because he is the rookie, but we've seen what he did when he was in Penn State. And people have been saying, when he comes to the NFL, he's going to be a superstar pass rusher, because he is just, my goodness, he was unstoppable in college. And now you're going to a team, you got drafted to a team who's going to make things easier for you. Dexter Lawrence is one of the best DTs in the game right now. Brian Burns is a talented pass rusher. Thibodeau, who, has his ups and downs, we've seen flashes of him playing lights out. You can't double anybody. You double Dexter Lawrence is one-on-one with everybody else, and they are one-on-one beaters. So this D-line is scary, and they are going to get after it. And don't knock them in the run game, because they could play the run fairly well also. Now, on the back end, there may be a lot of struggles. We're going to see what happens. But they're going to make things so much easier for the back end that, what are you going to do? Yes, there are going to be times they're not going to always be in your quarterback space. So, yes, during those times, that's where they're going to get beat. But my goodness, do not knock what the Giants is doing. We criticized them the last, I don't know how many years, and laughed at them when they let Saquon Barkley walk. Laughed at them. But boy, that defensive line, that defensive front is going to be scary for a lot of football players, a lot of football teams going up against them. As far as their offense, I'm not going to knock their offense. I'm still concerned about their offensive line, so I'm not too sure about that. We know what Malik Neighbors is about. As long as he's not crying, he's a great, fantastic young receiver. I think he's such a great player. He was a great player in college, and it completely easily transitioned for him over into the pros. So the quarterback position, I know they're very high on Jackson Dart. very high on him. I don't think he'll start right away. Of course, now I believe Russell Wilson is starting. But I think he'll come along a little bit, maybe depending on how Russell Wilson does in the first, I'm gonna say 4 to 5 weeks. If they're just a below 500 team that's just trying to get through the season, I can see them bringing in Jackson Dart. I know they have Jameis Winston as well, but I feel like he's just an extra body. Although I think he was talented, he's a talented quarterback. Although he had a serious turnover issue, I think their main goal is to eventually get to Jackson Dart as quickly as possible. But the fact that they do have Russell Wilson, and I know Russell Wilson has been getting knocked as well, for people say he's old and he is older, but he provides veteran leadership for the young guys. I think because of that offensive line, and that's one of my biggest concern with the New York Giants right now. Russell Wilson, we'll see how mobile he is. He is getting older. We've seen some of his mobility a little bit with the Steelers. I know he was just getting back from an injury. We'll see with another off season of being healthy, being able to work out how he normally is used to, get his body prepared. I want to see how mobile he is, because he's going to be using his feet for sure to get out of certain situations. I love that young running back that they have over there. I think he's very, very talented. He runs hard for me, a little shifty as well. So I'm excited for this. I'm not excited, but I'm interested. I'm intrigued about this Giants team to see their growth. Brian Dable, I think he's in a much better position to hopefully, because I don't think he has too many chances, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't think he has too many chances to try to figure this out, but to hopefully get this team going in the right direction. But with all that being said, again, this is week 1. It's a possibility it could be an upset. I don't really say upsets in week 1, but because of where the Commanders were last year versus where the Giants were the last so many years, I guess you could call this an upset. And again, to me, it's going to be the Giants defensive line versus the Commanders offense. That is what it's going to come down to. It really honestly is. I still think the Commanders are going to win, but I think this game is going to be a lot tighter than what people are thinking, are assuming. Again, another division game. We love the division games. Another division game. So both these teams really kind of know one another. I know new players come in and out, but the schemes don't change much a lot of times. So I'm still going to go with the Commanders. I think Jalen Daniels, he has to take that next step, that next level. I know it's year 2. I know they talk about the sophomore slump. I'm hoping he does go through a sophomore slump. But just off of what I see in pure talent, he's a very talented quarterback. So I'm excited to watch this game. I'm intrigued to watch this game to see what happens. And really, I don't care about who wins or who loses. I just want to see how both teams perform. More specifically, I want to see what the Commanders' offensive line and offense does with this Giants defensive line. How they can hopefully hold them, or what play action passes or confuse them and get them out of their spots to open up for the Commanders' offense, to hopefully create some easy scores for Jalen Daniels, Deebo Samuel, and those guys. So I'm intrigued. I'm going with the Commanders. I still think this is going to be a close one. For this one, I'm going to go a little bit lower. I'm going to say 21-17 Commanders. 21-17 Commanders. But all right, guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to get myself out of here. Stayed on here a little bit longer, but that's okay. I love talking sports. But just watch out. Look out for me over the course of the week. So I'm going to be on here much, much more. Yes, I am solo now. I am solo now, but I'm excited to come back. NFL football is back. NBA is right around the corner, so we'll be discussing some of that, but that's not for another month or two. So, but overall, The Sideline Speaks is back. So we're back. I'm excited. Please subscribe, like, and share. I would greatly appreciate it. The Sideline Speaks. See you guys later.